Hi friends, in our last lecture we had discussed about mutation. In our today's lecture we will be continuing with the same discussion mutation and we will be talking about the types of mutation. As we had already discussed, there are two types of mutation, micro mutation and macro. So macro and micro. Macro means large. In our today's session we are going to discuss in detail about the various types of macro mutation, how it can be induced and how it is useful for the organism. Now this is one chart. This chart, it tells us about the ploidy. Now what do we mean by ploidy? Ploidy means the number of sets of homologous chromosome in a cell or in cells of an organism. So there are a set which are always present in an organism. So it determines or it tells us about how many sets of chromosomes are present in an organism, and depending upon there are various types of ploidy that we are going to discuss in detail. Now ploidy, it is broadly categorized into euploidy and aneuploidy. Euploidy, again it is described under monoploidy, that is mono means single, n which we ideally called as haploids. Then comes diploid or diploidy, that is 2n, which is considered to be the complete set of an organism. Then comes polyploidy. Polyploidy, again it is divided into two types, that is autopolyploidy and allopolyploidy. Now autopolyploidy, it may be autotriploid, that is a set gets duplicated 3 times, or it may be autotetraploidy, that means 4 times. It is also known as Giga's effect. You should understand and relate to this term, that is Giga's effect. Gigas means something large, very huge. So Giga's effect, that means when there is increase in size, or if at all the fruit size has been increased. So that is considered as a Giga's effect. Most of the time this Giga's effect is also used for the production of some seedless fruits and vegetables. Then comes allopolyploidy. Allopolyploidy, so again when two different ploidy comes together, so you can see here AA and BB, so that is allotetraploidy because it has 4 chromosomes. So allotetra, AA, BB, CC, that means total 6 sets are present, so it is allohexaploidy. So it ideally deals with doubling, that is chromosomal doubling. Then the next that we are going to study today is aneuploidy. Aneuploidy, again it is divided into 2 types. One is hypoploidy and hyperploidy. Hypo, as the name itself indicates, hypo means less. So when it is monosomy, that means it doesn't belongs to a complete set of chromosomes. So 2n minus 1 chromosome is less. So that is monosomy. Then comes nullisomy, that means 2n minus 2. Then hyper means more. So trisomy, when there is 1 extra chromosome is seen. So that is trisomy, 2n plus 1. Tetrasomy, when there are 2 chromosomes they are extra, it is considered as tetrasomy. Now we are going to discuss each and every term, its aspects, how it is been obtained, and what are the uses or what are the features of each kind of ploidy. So now first we are going to discuss about polyploidy. Polyploidy, actually it is the condition where the polyploids, the doubling of chromosome is seen. So polyploidy, that means doubling of chromosomes. So when it comes in the doubling of chromosomes, if we could take an example, if it is 2n, then it gets doubled to 4n. That means a diploid set will get doubled into the tetraploid set, or when it is a triploid condition, it also gets doubled into the 6n. So this is considered as a primary polyploidy. So this is a primary polyploidy. There are one more type which is considered as a secondary polyploidy. Now what happens in secondary polyploidy? it happens or it arises by crossing between the organisms of different polyploidy levels. For example, if there is an organism which is a foreign, which is considered as a primary polyploidy, and it gets crossed between the diploid organism. Now this 4n and 2n total 6, but it will give rise to 3n, which is considered as a secondary polyploidy. Now, depending upon the source of additional chromosome sets, the polyploids, again they are divided. So the next is autopolyploids. Now when we are talking about autopolyploids, before we start with autopolyploids, there are few things that we should remember about the polyploidy condition. Ideally, when this polyploidy condition, it is with odd number. If at all it is with odd number, then they are sexually sterile. They can't reproduce. They are sexually sterile. So there are various types of inducing polyploidy also that we are going to discuss. The next one is autopolyploidy that we are supposed to start now. Autopolyploidy, that means the polyploids in which all the chromosome sets are homologous. Now auto means same. So all the sets of chromosome, they are homologous. So here, in other words, we can say that in autopolyploids there is duplication of same genome. If the genome is there, the same genome gets duplicated. So it is known as autopolyploidy. Now, what is the importance? Actually, the autopolyploidy condition, it is rare. In nature, it is not seen quite often. But this can again, it can be produced artificially also, because it has some commercial importance. So autopolyploid conditions can be produced artificially also. So the examples of natural autopolyploid, it includes doob grass. So these are the example. So it includes doob grass. Then it has maize. The examples are maize, guava. These are the few examples. Even coffee, groundnut. These are the examples which comes under autopolyploidy. So autopolyploidy, it can be done by union of diploid gametes produced in the absence of meiosis, by abnormal mitosis in diploid zygote. It can produce autotetraploid condition. Now, what are the characteristics of autopolyploidy? The characteristics of autopolyploidy is, as we had already discussed, it gives Giga's effect. So, Giga's effect, that means the diploid or the cell size increases. Cell size increases. So this increases the content of fruit or vegetable. So it has commercial value. It also useful for the delaying of flowering. So flowering is delayed, but flowers are comparatively larger. So flowering is delayed. But as we have discussed Giga's effect, the flowers will be larger in size. Now the growth rate is slow due to slow rate of division. Autopolyploids are have very low survival value. So they have a low survival value. And autopolyploidy, it can be induced. For induction of autopolyploidy, there are various methods. So it can be induced. How the autopolyploidy can be induced? So for the induction, there are quite different methods which are there that we are going to discuss now. So one of them is temperature treatment. So it may be high or low temperature, that can be the plants or the organisms can be treated. Then by mechanical injuries, if at all there is any mechanical injury, it will also induce to the autopolyploidy. It might be done due to, or it might happen due to some kind of infection. It also might happen if at all there is irradiation or the chemicals. So irradiation could be one of the cause, or there are some chemicals which are used, and the chemical which is ideally being used is colchicine. So the chemical used is colchicine. Now see, colchicine is very interesting to know that this is the alkaloid which is been obtained from autumn crocus. So the name is Colchicum autumnale, or it may be and Glariosa superba. Actually colchicine, it is also known as mitotic poison. If you could remember, we had discussed it once, mitotic poison. Mitotic poison, actually it inhibits spindle formation. How it works? It inhibits spindle formation. If you could remember, spindle is formed at the time of mitosis and it inhibits the formation of spindle. So without affecting replication of chromosomes, the mitotic poison colchicine will help for the induction of autopolyploidy condition. So these are the various methods which can induce autopolyploidy condition. Now we are going to discuss about allopolyploids. Now allopolyploids, this is the condition where the chromosome sets are not homologous. So when the polyploids or the chromosome sets are non-homologous and are initially derived from two different species. In short, it is related with hybridization, because it might be in same species or it might be in different species. So the non-homologous chromosomes, when they comes together and when there is the condition is known as allopolyploids. So in other words, we can say that the allopolyploids are derived from the stock which is heterozygous. So therefore it differs, it has different genome that have come together during the process of hybridization. Now what are the important aspects of these allopolyploids? They may result in immediate species formation if the genome, so it helps in immediate species formation. That means if the genomes of the two species are similar or almost similar, then a fertile hybrid may be produced, and if they are dissimilar, then the hybrid is sterile. So this is important. If the two species are similar, if two species are similar, then the hybrid will be fertile. Or if they are non-similar, the hybrid will be infertile. If you remember, in case of mule, the mule is a interspecific hybridization between horse and donkey, so the mule is infertile. So depending upon the type of species which is been taken, the fertile or the hybrid may be fertile or it may be infertile. Then if the doubling of chromosome takes place in the hybrid of case second, that is sterile, then the allotetraploid form consists of chromosomes which can undergo regular pairing, thus resulting in fertile allotetraploid. There is one example, that is Raphanobrassica. Now, as the name itself indicates, this Raphanobrassica is the first known allotetrapolyploid. Now, since alloploid, it is reported by Russian geneticist, that is Karponchno. The plant is the hybrid. This is the hybrid between Raphanus. So Raphanus is radish, and Brassica, that is cabbage. So this was the cross between radish and a cabbage. When autopolyploidy combines with allopolyploidy, it results into autoallopolyploidy. Now this is the new term, that is autoallopolyploidy condition. Now how does it form? It forms when autoploidy combines with alloploidy. It results in autoalloploidy. Now here if we could take one example, if there is a tetraploidy arising by alloploidy, will undergo chromosome doubling by autoploidy, and the octoploid, that is 8N, will result. So this 8N is the result of autoalloploidy. Now this autoalloploidy, there is one more example we could take. The example is Helianthus. Example is Helianthus tuberosus, and the genotype is like this. So this is an example of autopolyploidy. Again the same thing, how the autopolyploidy or how the allopolyploidy can be induced. The artificial polyploidy, as we had already discussed, can be induced by high temperature, then decapitation, and the chemicals. So this is about the types of autopolyploidy and allopolyploidy. Now we'll take a brief. So this is the distinguish between autopolyploidy and allopolyploidy. Now at autopolyploidy, it refers to a type of polyploidy where chromosome complement consists of more than 2 copies of homologous chromosome. This is important because here homologous chromosomes are involved. In allopolyploidy, it refers to a type of polyploidy where chromosome complement consists of more than 2 copies of chromosome which are derived from different species. So the chromosome may not be homologous, it is heterologous. Then autopolyploidy arises by fusion of gametes of same species. It arises from fusion of gametes of different species. So hybridization will be here. An autopolyploidy cell contains homologous chromosome sets. All chromosome sets of an allopolyploidy are non-homologous. Autopolyploidy mainly caused by non-disjunction of chromosomes. This we have already discussed, non-disjunction at the time of meiosis when the chromosomes get separated. So this is called as non-disjunction. If at all there is any problem or any irregularity happens during the non-disjunction, then it might lead to autopolyploidy, and it is caused by mating of different species. Autopolyploidy does not undergo meiosis since it has arisen from only one parent. But allopolyploidy, it can undergo meiosis, because we have already seen in allopolyploidy, if it is in between the same or the similar species, then the offspring is fertile. So it will undergo meiosis. It is seen in crops such as wheat, oats, sugarcane, potato, peanuts, banana and coffee. Allopolyploidy is seen in crops such as wheat and animals such as mule. Now we are going to discuss about aneuploidy. Now aneuploidy, it is seen where the variation of individual chromosome occurs. So aneuploidy in plants, in animals have incomplete genome. So when we say aneuploidy, it tells us about the incomplete genome. Genome is the complete genetic constitution of an organism. When it is not complete, it is incomplete, then the condition is known as aneuploidy. Now this aneuploidy is again further divided into hypoploids and hyperploids. Now we'll see one by one. Hypoploids. Hypoploids when one or more chromosomes are less. Hypoploids, the name itself, hypo means less. When one or more chromosomes are less, the condition is known as hypopolyploids. When the one or more chromosome is in additional or extra, then it is known as hyperploids. So here one or more chromosome is in additional, or we can say it is extra to complete genome, that is a diploid set, then it is considered as hyperploids. Now there are again various types of hypoploids. We all know diploid 2n is considered to be the normal. When it comes to hypoploids, the first condition is monosomics. Now monosomics, that means 2n minus 1. That means 2n is considered as a complete set. When one chromosome is less than this 2n, the condition is known as monosomic. And a very good example is Turner's syndrome. Turner's syndrome, where the 44 autosomes are present, but in the female one X chromosome is less. So only one X is present, another X is absent. So most of the time it is denoted by XO. So these females, they are infertile, secondary sexual characters are absent. So the condition is Turner syndrome, which is due to one less X chromosome. So they are the monosomics. Then comes the second condition is nullisomics. Nullisomics, that means complete set and 2 chromosomes are less. Then the next condition is double monosomics. So as the name itself indicates, double monosomics, that means again 2n minus 1. It is known as double monosomics. Now hyperploids. Hyperploids, the first condition is trisomics. Trisomics, that means a complete set plus 1 extra chromosome. So it is seen in 21 trisomy, that is a Down's syndrome where 21 number chromosome is extra. Then comes the next is double trisomic. In double trisomic condition, 2n plus 1 plus there is one more chromosome which is been present. So instead of total set, that is in humans if we could say 46, the people are having total 48 chromosomes. Then the next condition is tetrasomic. In tetrasomic condition, 2n plus 2. This is seen in superfemales. In superfemale, 2n is present complete. That means 44 is present plus they are having, apart from the normal 2x chromosome, 2 are in addition. That means total X chromosomes are 4. So they are called as superfemale. So it is tetrasomic condition. Ideally 2 has to be present plus 2. So that is tetrasomic. Sometimes it might be a pentasomic condition. Pentasomic condition, that means 2n plus 3. Again we could take the same example. 44 plus 2 are normal X chromosomes for female, but 1, 2 and 3. 3 extra. When X chromosomes comes, they are called as rare super females. They are the rare super females. The condition is pentasomic. Now the aneuploids. This was first discovered by Bridges. And These may arise by two methods. One, by the union of gametes, one of which contains an imbalanced number of chromosomes. So ideally, during non-disjunction meiosis, this type of thing happens by perpetuation of a cell in which, due to failure of mitosis, that is anaphase 1 or more chromosomes are added, or they might lost. These rarely survive and are much less viable than euploids. So aneuploids, it is important to know that the survival rate is extreme low. So the survival rate is extreme low. The aneuploids can be true or false. In true aneuploids, there are complete genome along with a fraction of genome, while the false one contain supernumerary chromosomes. So this is all about the aneuploidy that we have discussed here. Hope the terms are clear. Now we'll end our lecture here. Today we had discussed about the various ploidy conditions, as we had already discussed about allopolyploids, autopolyploids and aneuploids and its various types. Stay home, stay safe.